Well, hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to the Integrity Virtual Winter Conference 2023. My name is Dr. Denny Berger, and I'm glad that you are here with me today. I want you to know this, that it's a new year. It's 2023, and it is a time of renewal. It's a time of revival. It's a time for getting back on track. And it all starts with the purpose. And here is what we're going to talk about today. Number one, we want to define what that purpose is. And the thing about the purpose is this, it's not something you really need to think about it. The fact that you're a chiropractor, your purpose has been determined for you already. When you became a chiropractor, you walked across that stage and you got your diploma and you flipped the tassel and you threw your cap in the air and your clinic cards. It wasn't something like, all right, now what am I supposed to do? Your purpose was already set at that point. And so here is the definition of your purpose. Your purpose is to heal the land, changing the health and lives of people in your community, chiropractic care, utilizing the chiropractic adjustment to remove nerve interference and to provide them a life filled with stabilization and wellness. Let me repeat that. The purpose is to heal the land, changing the health and changing the lives of your community with chiropractic care, utilizing the chiropractic adjustment to remove nerve interference and to provide them a life filled with stabilization and wellness. I didn't talk about getting them out of pain because our goal is not to get them out of pain, but to get them to a life of stabilization and wellness. It's far greater than that. It's paradigm changing. You see, if somebody comes in and we get them out of pain, we helped them, we got them out of pain, but we didn't change their paradigm to one of chiropractic wellness. And when they leave, they haven't learned anything. And so that's why that's not part of the purpose. The purpose is to get them a life filled with stabilization and wellness. We have to focus on the purpose. We have to focus on the process that yields a strong outcome. And when the process is focused on properly and implemented correctly and consistently, the yield will be the desired outcome. So what I want to talk to you about today are not the individual procedures and how to do them, but rather talking about the 4 C's, that's ABC, the 4 C's of focusing on implementing the integrity system, because that is the process. So the first C that I want to talk about today is this. The integrity system must be implemented correctly. Correctly. What does that mean? There's no winging it. There's no shortcutting it. There's no just hitting the high points. It must be done correctly. Correctly. Point number 2. The integrity system must be implemented completely. Now, I say completely because of this. There are some people and practices that do the process part way. And the part way that they do the integrity system, they do it correctly. But if you're leaving out things, that can be very, very costly. And when I say costly, I'm not talking about for you. Ultimately, it will be, but The costly I'm talking about is it's costly for the patients because they don't get the full education, your full time. They leave with questions. And so we have to make sure that we do it completely. Don't leave anything out. Even when you feel you have justification to leave things out. Here's what I'm talking about. You have a report of findings at 3 o'clock. You take that patient back and you happen to notice there are 4 people in the reception area that need to be taken care of. And so you're really tempted at that point. And sometimes you tell the staff, you know what, I'm not going to do the full report of findings. I'm just going to hit the high points. Don't you do it. Don't be tempted to do that because that patient deserves your best. That patient deserves to get the full message. You need to look. Those people that are waiting, those 4 people that are waiting, you might have 2 that had later appointments and they came in early. You might have 2 that had earlier appointments and were running late. But we don't shortcut. We don't hit the high points. We don't wing it and make that new patient suffer over those things. If you were supposed to be in there at 3 o'clock and it's 3 o'clock, you are on time. And staff, you need to make sure that you tell the patients the doctor is on time. We have some people that came in early, some people that were running a little late, but I can assure you the doctor is on time. And we do not shortcut it for that patient. Now, there are times you feel like you can justify it. And so I'm going to say this. Just because something can be justified, anybody that has children understands this. They can justify anything, can't they? But just because something can be justified doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. So when you're tempted to do those things, don't do it. The third C is the integrity system must be implemented consistently. Consistently. And what do we mean by that? This means every time, every day, no exceptions, do it the right way. And do it in the right way regardless of the convenience or inconvenience. Now, here's why I say do it regardless of the convenience. Because there are times when you see that you have a break after this patient. And maybe you rush through it so you have a longer break or extra time to catch up with things. But you also have to do it consistently, even when it's inconvenient. Just as we talked about a moment ago, even when it's inconvenient. Every time, every day. There is no right time to do the wrong thing. There just isn't. So here's what I want you to know. In doing the first 3 C's, implementing the integrity system correctly, implementing the integrity system completely, implementing the integrity system consistently. And if you do those 3 C's right, the 4th C will come almost automatically. And the 4th C is the integrity system must be implemented confidently. Confidently. It has to be done with confidence so the patient knows that you're telling them the right things to do. confidently doesn't mean talking too much, because sometimes talking too much shows a lack of confidence. So you want to make sure that you do it with confidence and that you say that, and you make sure that the presentations are there. Because you see, it's not just the information that you give that's important, but it's the way that you give it that gets that patient's attention. You can give the right information in a monotone voice, and all they hear is wah, 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 wah. And they're thinking about what they're going to have for lunch or what they're going to do that evening. And on the other hand, you can do a tremendous presentation, and you get the patient all motivated, and they walk out of the office and they're excited, but they have no idea what they're excited about. And so it's a fine line when the right information comes together with a great presentation. That synergistic effect is amazing. And you have to remember that we're not just talking at the patients, but we're talking to the patients. And the presentations have to be conversational. It's like you're talking with them. They have to be personable. And you can do conversational and you can do personable and still be professional. And so that's important to know. See, when we are teaching these patients, we are teaching them, a good analogy would be flying the plane. You have navigate, aviate, and communicate. See, navigate is teaching, the 4 C's. It gives you the ability to be a true leader in the practice. You steer the practice in the way it needs to go. Aviate is getting the plane in the air. That is getting it off the ground, getting the message to the patients. So you aviate, you get them in the air, you navigate, you direct them in the way that you want your treatment plan to go, in the way to educate them to chiropractic wellness. And then you communicate. You communicate with each other. You communicate with your coach. You communicate with the patients. And if you are ever in question about what to do, seek help. That's why we at Integrity are here. So aviate, get the plane in the air. Keep the plane in the air. Navigate, don't fly into the side of a mountain. And communicate. When you have questions, seek help. That's very important. And I want you to understand this. The process isn't just the procedures in the integrity system. In the integrity system, you also have to be aware of that communication with the patient. You have to be aware of the fact that maybe you need to give a wellness report early to salvage that patient. And you have to know where that patient stands, and you have to watch for the signals, and it all plays a part. As an example, the report of findings is so important. It's very important. It is the first point of true chiropractic education that the doctor gives a patient. And I would never downplay the report of findings. It is important. But I will tell you this, it is not the end all. It is not the end all, because if it were, you could do a great report of findings and that patient wouldn't miss any more appointments. They would be there, but it's not. There's a lot of times we do great report of findings and people drop out. And so the thing that you have to realize is patient education is an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process. And it's made up of the report of findings. It's made up of the Living Well for Life video visit. It's made up of the 6-point office visit, which is the most frequent form of patient education there is. It's made up of the wellness reports, 1, 2, and 3, the videos. And it has to be done correctly, completely, consistently, and confidently. The patients have to get the message. And we have to be aware, because there are some times we have to do things earlier to salvage the patient. We have to watch for the signals. Are they less excited verbally than they were in the beginning? Are they starting to miss appointments? Or are they starting to run late? Those are key indicators. And it requires communication from the doctors and the staff. You see, compliance is so important. We're wanting the patient to get the message of chiropractic wellness, and compliance is important. And here's why compliance is important. Write this down. Compliance is a great grading tool for measuring the quality of patient education in the clinic. I'm going to repeat that. Compliance is a great grading tool for measuring the quality of patient education in the clinic. You see, patients have to get the message. They cannot get to wellness without grasping the message. Oh, we can go through the procedures, we can go the routine, but if they don't grasp the message, it's as if we didn't do the procedures at all. You see, patients don't talk about the message. It would be nice if they said to the doctor and the staff, you know what, I'm so thrilled that you all taught me the chiropractic message. But they don't do that. They don't do that. But they do demonstrate it. They demonstrate it by being compliant to their treatment plans. They demonstrate it by becoming a wellness patient. And they demonstrate it by referring their family and friends into the clinic. It's all about the message. See, the doctor, the staff, they have to be true leaders with the patients. And staff, regardless of what you think, patients see you as chiropractic experts. And so what you have to do is you have to be able to say the same thing that the doctor says. And we have to get that message across. And they have to hear the same words from the doctor and the staff. Because if they hear one thing from the doctor and then the staff goes another route, guess what happens? They're just like kids. How many of you have kids? How many of them did you actually teach? If dad says no, ask mom. None. They automatically get that. And patients are that way too. If they don't like what the doctor tells them and they know they can ask the staff and get what they want, they're going to do it. That's why they have to be getting the same message from the doctors and the staff. And staff, we have to make sure that we're handling that advanced multiple scheduling process, because that's one of the educational tools as well. Because if we do not advance multiple schedule the treatment plan as the doctor gives, number one, we validate the fact that they don't like what the doctor says, they can ask the front desk. But here's what happens. Two things happen with this, and neither one of them are good. If you don't advance multiple schedule properly, which is from the report of findings to the beginning of wellness, all those visits, you're letting the patient be in charge. That's the first thing. And we all know that when the patients are in charge of anything, it's chaos. And the second thing is this: you're not backing up the doctor's treatment plan. And so we have to make sure that that's being done. You see, we all have an impact. We all make a difference. Staff, don't just think that it's because you answer the phone, make appointments. No, man, you're the first voice they hear when they call in, and you can make them feel welcome from the start. They're the first, you're the first face they see when they walk in the door. And you got to have that positive, fantastic impact. And that's a choice. It can be a great positive impact. It can be an indifferent impact, or it can be a negative impact. And it's got to be positive, because we are there. We are there to get people to wellness. If people drop out before wellness, or if they're doing great and we've been educating them to wellness and they're doing great, and then all of a sudden we start cutting their treatment plans down, we're validating the very paradigm we're trying to change. They come in with a paradigm of, I went out of pain. I went out of this office. And the paradigm we got to get them to is the paradigm of chiropractic wellness. We have to make sure that people are making their appointments. And if we see that they are not, what we do is, if people miss an appointment, cancel an appointment, whatever, our natural reaction is to do a recall. And that's right. That is the correct thing to do. However, that is the second best thing to do. The best thing, the best solution, is you look at the education that's taking place in the clinic. Because remember, we said a moment ago that compliance is a great grading tool for measuring the quality of patient education in the clinic. And are they getting that message? So if you start seeing that, evaluate the quality of the patient education. Are we winging it? Are we shortcutting it? Are we doing it correctly? Are we doing it completely? Are we doing it consistently? Not just necessarily when it's scheduled to be done, but are we paying attention to it and doing it when it needs to be done to salvage that patient? And are we doing it confidently? We just have to make sure that the patients are getting the message. And we have to remember how important it is, because the show makes the star. The star never makes the show. I remember when I saw the Phantom of the Opera for the first time. I'm sitting first row lows, great seats, and I am thinking, oh my, I hope this is worth it for what I paid for these tickets. And I remember looking at the gold proscenium around the stage and the giant burgundy curtains. And I remember when the curtains pulled away and there was a fog on the stage and candles coming out of the floor, and the Phantom is rowing the boat out on the stage, singing to Christine, and the crescendo of the music, and the hair stood up on my arms. And it was amazing. And I will tell you this, not once did I ever lean back in my chair, cross my arms, and say, this is a script. But it was. They do it the same way every time. But they make it sound so exciting, because it's got to be great, because people are there for the show. What would happen if the Phantom rode the boat stage left and exited behind the side curtain. Poor lighting guy wouldn't know what to do. Or what if he walked to a certain part of the stage other than where he was supposed to be? Or he reached for a prop and the prop master didn't have that prop there. There would be a problem. Then people start looking for the mistakes. What if the curtain was closed and the Phantom came out in flannel shirt and jeans and cowboy boots and a cowboy hat and sat down on the stage and just started singing? It'd be a beautiful voice. But if you were singing a cappella, it wouldn't be the same as the scenery and the lighting and the music. You see, regardless of how great the star is, star never makes the show. The show makes the star. And our show is the integrity system. One of the things that is so important is we are on stage. People are paying to see us. And we got to give them the show they deserve. And doing that is implementing the integrity system the right way. Here's something that I tell some of the doctors that I work with. It's kind of a Dennyism. And so you might want to write this down. Great days are important to every one of us. And so here's what we have to do. And here's the Dennyism. Focus on today. Focus on today, every day. Great days make a great week. Great weeks make a great month. Great months make a great year. And great years make a great life. And a great life begins by focusing on today. And you want to make every day the best day that you can. You can't do anything about the past. Nobody's guaranteed the future. And so you want to make sure that you focus on today. Now, in saying that, I'm not saying you don't plan for the future, because you do have to make plans. But when it comes down to taking care of the patients, focus on today. And I will say this: never, ever accept life the way that it is. But folks, always, always steer in the direction of your dreams. Thank you for your time today, and enjoy the rest of the conference.